Insane had decided to host themselves a little tournament in the bridge, and it would be too big of a loss not to present myself there. So I grabbed my Glock and walked in. So the tournament featured two teams, or groups. One is managed by Scapel, and the other is led by the King NH9 of Watermelontopia. You have to join a team, or in other words, do you want to be the embodiment of the worst manager this world has ever seen, or do you want to be a cool watermelon? I know which choice I'm going to make. My allegiance lies with NH9. I follow him as my savior. He's a pure soul, a copy of a younger version of myself. Filled with passion, strategy and humor. He was determined to lead us to victory, and didn't even touch a strength potion. In fact, we brew ourselves a different kind of potion. A potion crafted from the tears of Scapel. They taste so nice, you can just feel the powerlessness from them. Reminding you that Female never succeeded, and that won't change in the future. As expected from Scape, the tournament was delayed, because it's impossible to get a slightly modified map working. TJ4 his lit games were infinitely better than the shit we were presented with here. Truth is, the game had been rigged from the start. It took 2 hours for Scape before he had fixed the tournament, and the map. He wasn't feeling all too well, having sucked all the dicks of people in Female. This is why everyone chanted to demote Scapel. Nobody wants a manager in charge, whose only achievement is to manage his loss and inability to defeat the great power that us Melons hold. I could see the massive amounts of fuckery the staff were making, so I told my precious Ethan that I would be shopping groceries. Drove up to the supermarket, got the ingredients, drove back, and there was still no game, because they're insane. I told Ethan that I'd be preparing dinner, and after an hour of cooking I brought the meal to his room. He kissed and thanked me, before showing me that Scape still didn't have his shit together. To comfort Ethan a little, I took off his clothes and took him on my lap. Took his headphones and listened to the kids mumbling in fame, while I figured that I had to go deeper, wink wink. At last the false sense of hype had been building and boom, we were launched into the game. Blue for lame idiots, red for insanely great conquerors of the bridge. Now I know that NH9 isn't the most fond of me, but I have to respect his dedication to the team and the cause. He's been very supportive throughout the whole tournament. Meanwhile in Female, Scape was still sucking sweaty balls. While NH9 was busy fighting on the front lines with his team, I'd been grouped into a special unit to pick off key targets. I raped Female completely. All their precious materials were fed to the peasants on the battleground. Even though it was still early into the game, I could hear muffled cries from Scape. He was trying to hide his anger, his fear, because the Melon gang was near. I would never give up on a mortal soul like him. We were to last, but in the back of his head Scape was stressing. The most powerful being had arrived, making him tremble in absolute fear. I would not have any of that shit, and told NH9 and the other Melons that it would be a good time to attack. Since NH9 is smart and knows that listening to my requests always pays off, a rushing campaign had started. Bang bang bang, the sound of Female, her nexus, getting raped. In the corner sat Scape, crying over the inevitable victory I would have. In the meantime Crucio was the janitor of the game, cleaning up the shit I had left behind. I don't give a fuck if I get banned, bitch. It takes 5 seconds to switch up my Tor connection, before the hacking fest continues its rampage through your mind. Even with him constantly checking, he didn't even manage to ban me. My client is undetectable, and will fuck you and your shitty squad. My skill aura strikes fear into the hearts of all Female idiots. Melon gang is determined, hard as a stone, and hotter than your mum. Female is bleeding, Scape weeping, and us Melons win by sleeping. As the Nexus raping continued, I decided to carve a glorious name in the sky, shining as a beacon of light over the peasants that walked the land. I stretched out my hand to save them from their barbaric ways, to enlighten them of the one true faith, that is the Holy Melon. O glorious NH9, lead us on the path of victory, slaughter the heads of Female while we laugh from the skies. Show the peasantry that we have the power of God and Melons on our side. In a last-minute decision, Scapel urged his team to rush as fast as they could. Too bad they met me there, because I had filled up all their tunnels with literal shit, so his dream quickly went out the window. Ethan had already told me that the tournament was total shit. 2 hours of painful waiting, and 2 hours more of repetitive gameplay. However, with the downside of him losing, there was also an upside. That upside was a deal stating that the winner would get to have some actual fun, so I went back to his room. He was already smiling, and I quickly unzipped my pants to choke Ethan with my massive neat cock. The real reason us Melons had won was because we had the greatest helper on our team, Ion Eyes. His skill traverses the boundaries of time and space. The idiots of Female kept calling him a hacker, so he drowned them in his own cum. A very special thanks to NH9 and the rest of the Melon gang for giving me this great opportunity. I am always ready to serve for another tournament to rape my female bitches.